You study for hours. You memorize everything. You feel ready. Then 3 days later, it's gone. Completely gone. Like it never happened. And you're sitting there, frustrated, wondering what's wrong with your brain. But here's the truth nobody tells you. There's nothing wrong with you. Your brain is actually doing exactly what it's designed to do. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact system that will change this forever. So, let me be real with you. I used to be that student. I'd spend entire nights studying, highlighting everything in my notes, reading the same chapters over and over. And every single exam, I'd blank out. I'd see a question and think, I definitely learned this. But the answer wouldn't come. It's like my brain filed it away somewhere I couldn't access. That feeling of helplessness, of trying so hard and getting nowhere, that broke something in me. I started thinking maybe I wasn't smart enough. Maybe my brain just wasn't built for learning. Maybe I should just accept being average. But then something shifted. I realized the problem wasn't my intelligence. The problem was my method. And once I understood how memory actually works, everything changed. My grades went up. My confidence returned. And more importantly, I realized I could control this. Here's what most students get wrong. When you study something once, your brain doesn't save it permanently. It's like writing something on wet sand. The information is there, but without reinforcement, it washes away. Your brain is actually protecting you from information overload. It's asking you, is this important enough to keep? And if you don't remind it that yes, this matters, it deletes it. This is called the forgetting curve. It's not a weakness. It's actually genius design. But nobody teaches you to work with it instead of against it. So the first thing you need to do is completely change when you review your material. Instead of studying something once and hoping it stays, you need to bring it back at specific intervals. Study your notes today, then review them tomorrow, then 3 days later, then a week later, then a month later. This isn't random. This is based on how your brain actually consolidates memory. Each time you revisit information, you're telling your brain, this is important. Keep this. And your brain listens. I know what you're thinking, but that takes more time. No, it takes less time. When you study once, you forget 90% and waste all that time. When you use spaced repetition, you remember 90% and spend half the time. This is the first turning point. The moment you stop fighting your brain and start working with it. But here's where most people fail. They know about spaced repetition, but they don't actually do it consistently. They study randomly when they feel like it. They cram the night before exams. They tell themselves they'll review later, but never do. And nothing changes. The second step is making this automatic. You can't rely on motivation or willpower. You need a system. Write down what you studied today. Set a reminder for tomorrow at the same time. Make it your daily ritual. Not because you're disciplined, but because you've removed the decision. It happens automatically. When you remove decisions, you remove excuses. This is where your identity starts to shift. You're not anymore the student who forgets everything. You're becoming the student who builds systems. You're becoming the person who works smart, not just hard. That's not a small change. That's everything. Now, the third step is the emotional one. And this is where most people miss the biggest opportunity. When you study, you need to feel something. You need to connect emotionally to what you're learning, not just intellectually understand it. Let me explain. If you're studying biology and memorizing facts about photosynthesis, your brain treats it as random information. But if you study photosynthesis and you actually feel curious, if you see how incredible it is that plants convert sunlight into energy, if you think about how this is the foundation of all life on Earth, suddenly it sticks. Your brain attaches emotion to it. And emotional memories are sticky. They stay. So when you're studying, ask yourself, why does this matter? How does this connect to my life? Why should I care? Make it personal. Make it real. A student who just memorizes facts will forget them. A student who feels curious, who connects emotionally, will remember them for years. I remember the moment this clicked for me. I was struggling with chemistry, hating every second. Then one day my teacher showed us how chemistry is literally the reason we exist. The atoms in our bodies came from stars. We are made of stardust. And suddenly chemistry wasn't boring. It was miraculous. I learned more in that moment than I had in months of forcing information into my brain. The fourth step is what separates average learners from exceptional ones. It's teaching what you learned to someone else. When you have to explain something to another person, you realize immediately where your understanding is weak. You're forced to clarify it in your mind. You're forced to go deeper. This is why study groups work. This is why tutoring helps. This is why explaining your notes to a friend, even if they don't understand the subject, is so powerful. You're not just reviewing. You're rebuilding your understanding. Your brain is rewiring the information, making stronger neural connections. This is actual learning happening. But here's the most important part. All of this means nothing if you give up. And most students do. They try one new method, it doesn't work instantly, and they quit. They go back to the old way, because at least it's familiar.